Welcome back, Superhuman. Today I'm coming to you live, well, not live, but live from GameReady Performance. So this is a brand new, fantastic facility behind me, but today's special guest is Daniel Chudleigh, and he is the owner, the founder of this place, the dreamer, the visionary, who has made this amazing facility come to life. So without further ado, let's dive in and find out more about Daniel.
Thanks, Ria. Yeah, very exciting to have this down here today. We're super keen. We're not too far away from opening now. So we've been building this for quite some time.
Since February, I think.
Yeah, it's been since Feb. So that's been the construction process. But obviously the dream and the vision's been a lot longer than that. So with my background, I worked in professional sports for about 9 years. I worked at the Adelaide Crows as a sports trainer, and then I took on a bit of a bigger role with the Cycling Australia team. So through COVID, I actually exited the professional sporting environment. And so now coming out into the public sector, really wanted to incorporate bringing that professional athlete feel and community and how people train, get along with their staff, their workers, bring all that out to the public as something that's not really been done before.
No, there certainly isn't another facility like this, at least in South Australia.
So. Yeah, thank you. We tried really hard to make sure that like that feel as soon as you walk through the doors, it shines through.
Yeah, definitely showing through. Like when I came here, I was like, there's been no expense spared, no detail missed. It's really thought out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we wanted to consider every area within the space, but we obviously wanted to leave a lot of space as well for growth, for how other people come in, practitioners and everything. They might be able to add things to GameReady on top of the vision that was already there. And if we can have that space and room to grow, and I think we'll be able to facilitate some pretty special stuff down the track.
Cool. Well, let's take it back a notch. So we're getting close to open day, but where did this dream, where did this vision, where did this start for you?
Where was it born?
Yes.
Yeah, so I grew up playing basketball here in South Australia. I was part of the SASI system. And I had a bit of a traumatic injury as an athlete. It was kind of that age where I was starting to learn to be a bit more athletic, and I was starting to use that to my advantage, and I kind of threw my body on the line probably more than I should have. And unfortunately, in one of those times, I came down wrong and twisted my knee each and every which way. And I ended up doing my ACL, MCL, and PCL. So it was the trifecta.
Oh my gosh.
And on top of that, it was, a lot of broken bones. And it was a long process to return from that. I think being from a family which wasn't very well off, I didn't have very much access to, physiotherapy, strength and conditioning. So I had to teach myself a lot of it, which is, I think, where a bit of a passion came from within this space. I think when you go through something yourself, you can understand what other people might be going through as well. So I reflected upon that, and I wanted to stay in professional sports if I couldn't be an athlete anymore. So it kind of led me to do my personal training certificate, and I got talked into doing my massage certificate as well. Through that, I actually drew more to the massage side of things. I think the intention was to become a strength coach and work for teams and everything. But I think my skills, and I think as it just kept naturally evolving, I was always drawn more to massage. So I ended up landing myself a gig with the Adelaide Crows, and then with Cycling Australia. So with all of that, I got to experience what athletes go through. So I guess going right back to the start again, the vision of this place was born to help people which is going through similar things, or other related things which might be holding them back. So to create an environment that can help people move forward, even if they're struggling. So we don't want to just create a gym. We want to create this holistic development of an athlete and as a person as well.
Yeah, definitely. So this massive injury that you sustained. How old were you when this happened?
I was 17.
You were 17, and that was the end for you. Like you couldn't.
So I was told it was the end.
Okay.
And I was just determined to get back to it. I did end up getting back to a Division 1 level after that.
Oh, nice.
But it was never the same. So mentally for me, it was a bit of a grind to know that I was at a level before, and I would never get back to that level. So for me, I decided just to focus on work. So
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, you can see where the passion is stemmed. Like unfortunately, most of us who are passionate about these kinds of things had to sustain some sort of traumatic thing in our lives. From that, births something incredible like what you've gone through and what now you're building and creating for the future now. So and now how much more can you help athletes, saying that like I've gone through this, I know what it feels like, and I know how to fix, help you.
Well, that was the intention even as a basketball player, thinking that I was going to go and play overseas and play professionally and everything. The whole drive behind that, even before the injury, was I was never going to be the best basketball player in the world. So what could I do to help others be better? So I've always had that within me that I wanted to give back. I thought I would be doing, become a coach or develop an academy in basketball or something related to that. But then the injury happened, so I just had to find another way to do it.
When you're passionate, you just want to stay involved somehow. Keep your finger on the pulse. So you exited throughout COVID. I mean, a lot of things went to sleep in COVID, and a lot of things were born from it. So this becoming a reality, I mean, talk us through the process. Like you're out on your own now, and did you know that this was going to be the next step? Or
I had no idea. No, I think I knew that I wanted to start working on it. I didn't think it would happen as quickly as it did. But through my exit of coming out of professional sports, I knew that the skill that I had was with massage therapy. So I decided to start my own business. I had been working outside of professional sports, but never as a dedicated thing. So I decided now's the time. I'm going to learn, I'm going to start it all up. So I opened GameReady Therapy. So that was the prelude to GameReady Performance and what you see now. But GameReady Therapy started taking off, I guess, with my athlete connections, which I'd worked with, and the references that came through those athletes. And I got quite busy quite quickly, which is actually where I met my business partner in all of this, through a massage. So he just offered his help, his mentorship. And I was probably a little bit naive at the time, and I probably took a bit longer to take him up on that offer than what I should have. But I think about 6 months after he was a client, I decided to say, hey mate, let's go out for a coffee. I've got some ideas I wanted to run past you. And he just liked it that much that he wanted to do it with me. So it was very organic in how that came about. And that was about May last year now. So this has been about a year's journey just getting to this stage right now.
Of course, well, something of this magnitude is going to take some thorough planning.
That's it.
I like, you've mentioned this to me off this podcast, but that moment where he actually gave you the business, like he said to you, I like it, but have you got a business plan? And you were like, no.
well, taking him out for a coffee was for me it was a big step, but I think for him, he assumed that I had business plans. So he said, bring your business plan to me. And I didn't have one. I had the concept and I had the idea. But I guess, putting some pressure on myself, I decided that this is a good opportunity to get some mentorship through this and get some guidance. And so I worked all night, every day of the week in the lead up to that meeting. So I could send him the email of my business plan the night before. And he came prepared the next day with some feedback and some notes on it. And he said, I'll give it to you if you let me do it with you.
I love it.
So it was for me, when I heard the response, I was kind of like, really? Like, why me? Like, like why? But I think just upon talking about it with him, it was a concept which we felt really comfortable with. It was something which hadn't been done before, which is, I guess, the birth of GameReady Performance. And then he's got a background in fitness, and being a fitness junkie himself, he had some ideas and some concepts which we could bring into that as well. So combining those things is what you see behind you now.
Yes. And so obviously for those who may be watching or even listening, I can't take you on a full tour right now, but I assure you I will in a separate video. Take us through all the little components of who you're bringing, like who and what you're bringing in here to make the experience.
Yeah, so I guess GameReady Performance's concept is inspiring your inner athlete. So I think a lot of us at one stage in our life has wanted to be an athlete or wondered what it was like to be an athlete, whether it's for a day or for a career.
Well, maybe not everyone, but everyone listening to this definitely.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I think the concept is we wanted to create a place which does inspire even the most professional athletes. And we've had a lot of professionals come through, we've had a lot of athletes come through, and they've all seen the space and their jaws hit the floor. So they love it. But that's not who we're targeting. We're targeting people which want to, I guess, level up or take it to the next level. We want to make sure that anyone from all backgrounds and all walks of life, whether they encountered something early on which stopped them from becoming an athlete, whether they gave up on it because of other personal situations around it, they can walk in here and feel like this is the team environment that I'm looking for and be part of a greater community. So we don't want to just be the brick and mortar down here. We don't want to have just the four walls and what's inside of it. We want to be able to educate. We want to be able to show people what it would take to get them to the next level, so that when they walk out the doors, they feel inspired enough to go do it at home.
Yeah. Keep that it's all well and good to come in here and do the right thing, but then also what you do outside of here is equally important.
There's no good doing everything down here and then going home and ruin it with a six-pack of beer or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's true. But a part of I guess being here is, in all honesty, you really don't want to leave in a hurry. You know, and you said that that's part of the plan, really. Like you want people to feel comfortable here. And
that's right. Yeah. So it's supposed to be, I guess behind us, we're showing the gym at the moment, but we want to be known as more than a gym. In fact, we don't want the word gym thrown in there at all. We want to be a high performance facility. And I guess with that comes a social wellness environment as well. So when people walk through the doors, we've got our coffee area down at the front. Where we're sitting at the moment should be a hangout area, places where you can meet people, socialize with people that you want to bring in as well. So we actually tried to create a space and be quite thoughtful with all of the areas in the space that people will want to hang out down here. People should hang out down here, and we'd like to get to know the people that are down here too. So our community, we want to cap our members at, so that we can know each individual person's journey and help them through our coaches, our practitioners, and everything aligned down here. We can actually assist on everyone's journey, not just being another number in the system.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I met you, like, we got along so well, because we both have that kind of family values and welcoming and warming. And I think we chatted for like 90 minutes the first time we met, but
just on a facility walkthrough, and then we parked ourselves at the top here. So
basically. But with all the specialities and every single room and office here has a different purpose. So behind us, we've got a room that's going to have a dietitian, and then not sure if you've made any headway on the youth counselor or sports psychologist yet.
Still looking for one.
Still looking for one. There you go.
But that's something that's really important to us, I guess, with my journey in particular, something that I wanted to bring in here as a personal thing, but also knowing that a lot of people need that help and guidance too.
100%.
Yeah,
like they don't think about, like, traditionally, maybe when back when we were playing professional like sports or sports in general, that people don't think about that mindset of the athlete or the mental health behind it, because being competitive, because we both joked about how competitive we are when it comes to basketball, but we are, athletes are competitive, and then it's learning how to win and how to lose. All of the components of the sport. What happens if you get an injury, how to keep yourself from going down into a massive rut, and having that support. So I really love that was something that you've thought about in terms of who you want in here. It's not like in traditional corporate gyms, sorry, not gyms, but you know what I mean, like this kind of space where they just go, there's a room, cool, here you go, like, let's make money. Is like, you're like, no, I'm really being thoughtful about who I bring in. This is like a sacred space. And you've got physios in here, massage therapists. You've got a room of athletic testing equipment, like not just your random. This is like the proper professional athletic equipment for testing that is available for members to use. And a full-size basketball court. I mean, That
What
was
more could you want? We've had people come through and like have a viewing of the facility, and some of the terms that get thrown around I actually really like, and I think, oh, I should play on that a little bit more. I should workshop that a little bit. But we had someone from the fitness industry and community come through who's seen plenty of gyms around the globe, and they came through here, and their jaw hit the floor as well, and they kind of said, it feels like you've just got everything that you need here. It's almost like a fitness playground.
Oh yeah.
Like you can come in here, you can just have fun. You can like do some stuff by yourself. You can be part of a team. You can join a class or a workshop down here. You've got all of the practitioners around, which you're going to educate. So you can always take something away. You've got the recovery stuff downstairs. So there's always something to do. So something, as you touched on before, like we are considerate of that holistic stuff. We wanted to create spaces which wasn't just for coming down here and getting out of your shell. If you do need to come down here and have some time to yourself, we've got dedicated spaces for that as well. So if you come down here, or even on the way here, something happens and you need to just have your own space, we've got a wellness room, which we will have some self-directed mindfulness, mobility, and wellness content playing. But you can also just have a quiet space to go and retreat to. So
yeah, it's really lovely. It's away from the noise, and it's quite a peaceful little space that you've created there. I love it. And so in terms of recovery, you've got some pretty amazing facilities just beneath us, actually. So why don't you tell us a bit about what you've got down there?
Yeah, well, I guess the actual going back to the start of this business plan and what was involved with a holistic development of an athlete and someone in the fitness space was we need to be considerate of what else people need, and there's not that much in Adelaide, and there are some facilities around Australia, but not so much that incorporate it in the way that we do. So as you said, below us in the recovery space, we've got two contrast baths. So contrast spa baths. They did bubbles, so they are spa baths.
Oh, that's amazing.
One will be set at 38 degrees and the other at 14. So it's really pivotal for after group sessions down here. We're going to be running group recovery sessions. So we'll be getting people in and out of the baths. And obviously, as you'd be aware of, opening and closing those capillaries really flushes around everything within your system. So obviously it leaves you feeling fresh, healthy, happy, and it makes you less sore, so you can back up in another hard session quicker than you could have before. So we've got those spa bath facilities. We've got the ice plunge pools, which will have range between 5 and 12 degrees, which will be used for different reasons as well. So obviously the lower temperatures is more for that mindset breath work kind of training, but then the higher temperatures towards that 12 degrees will be more for that inflammation response. So after your sessions, after your sport, whatever you do, you can come down here, and as a member you can have full access to it, and we'll be having coaches and everybody guide you through those sessions as well. And then we've got some nice saunas as well, so that's always just good in winter at the moment. Getting nice and toasty in there before you go
infrared
home.
saunas, you forgot to mention
infrared saunas. Two of them.
That's awesome. Great. So you want to create this community space. It's already feels warm and it's not even open yet. So where do you see this going, as you sort of get your feet work and everything happening?
I love that you say that it already feels warm and welcoming in here. I think it probably goes to show that all the hard work that's been put into it for the last year. But we are excited to open, but opening is one part of it. We do have bigger aspirations that we believe that a facility like this, and all incorporating kind of community, it can be seen as the new way to train in the fitness industry. So things like Body Fit and F45, how they've kind of hit the market and they've shown people a new way to train. We hope people see us in a similar light, where you can have everything that you need in your health fitness goals under the one membership to come down here and find your own pathway. So we hope that is a new trend within the industry, and that trend lasts.
Well, I think this place will definitely attract and retain the right people that you want, and that's what like-minded people want to be around like-minded people, hence why you and I are meeting here today. So I did have another question that just escaped me. I want to recap a little bit because I know we may have gone a bit fast. Okay, so Daniel here had a dream of being a professional basketball athlete at some stage, and then you had to switch lanes, right? But then it really, what was happening, it was steering you into the direction you were meant to go, because you became the best and better coach, massage therapist you could have been, you know. And I want to highlight that because I've spoken about this in previous podcasts with my own story. You know, it's like what was to me detrimental and horrific at the time turned out to be my biggest blessing. So then now when these roadblocks come in my path, I just look at them for what they are and just look for the way to go through and better myself in the process, because that's why these obstacles come into our lives, to challenge us and to help us grow. So I really want to highlight that for people, because sometimes when you're down and something really, you just think, I'm never going to get through this. My dream is crushed. Well, there could be something just around the corner that opens up for you, you know? And so to even speak about like my own chapter that's been closing. So 11 years at Hindmarsh, right? And I've spoken about this in the previous episode, but what I didn't say is where my next chapter is, which is ta-da, here. Because why the hell not, right? You know, like we got along so well. It's a beautiful space. It's about community. It's about just being your best self. And I'm all about being your best self. So yeah, the cat's out the bag. I'm going to be here, guys. And
we're looking forward to having you.
There's like a proper kitchen space that I'm looking so excited to do some nutrition workshops. Like there's just so much playground for even me as a coach to utilize, to give value to the community and to everyone here. So I'm just really excited to start. And
we look forward to seeing you bring that to life as well. I think, you know, going crazy in a place like this for yourself, we're looking forward to seeing you flourish, looking forward to seeing you take that journey and run with it. So
yeah, I'm so excited, you know, because it's like, as this big chapter is closing, it was restrictive, you know, and when you're in it, you don't realize. It's a bit like a relationship, you know, whether it's a career relationship or a actual relationship, partnership, you don't realize that you're actually restricted. You know, there are certain things that I cannot do in a corporate gym, you know, and when you come into a space like this, where your values align so much with my own, and what you're trying to create is exactly in alignment with what I'm trying to do, it's like I already feel my wings spreading, like, and I'm not even in here yet.
That's great.
You know, so that's and then all the windows, so a big door closes and then all these windows start opening, and you're like, this is where I'm meant to be going. And you know, I had full body goosebumps. Like, you were excited, I was excited, and I'm like, oh, we just need to make this is gonna happen. I'm sure we could talk all day.
Yes,
we can. But we both have so much to do.
We've got to get ready for you coming in.
But a question I ask everyone who's been on the podcast is, what does being superhuman mean to you?
Being superhuman. Well, I think it would probably mean to me, I guess the journey that I went through with my injury, and as you touched on before as well, is digging deep, and not just the wins, but the losses, and how you can experience them and how you can fight back from the losses. So I guess it's finding that element which means a lot to you, and not losing track of your vision throughout those losses will always get you back on top. I think to me, that's probably keeping superhuman, and I think everyone can do that if they've found the right way that they need to go.
Yeah, nice. And I think this kind of facility is what's going to create superhumans here. But yes, well, thank
Superhumans Game Ready.
Exactly. And if you don't know what Game Ready is, I mean, don't even get me started. But but where did that, well, okay, just for people who don't understand what Game Ready, where did Game Ready come from?
So it was a funny story, actually. It was as I was leaving the cycling team. The name Game Ready was born because I was thinking about when I was going to massage and what my skill was. And I was talking to one of the strength coaches there, and he actually said to me, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I get athletes ready. And he said, well, athlete ready. I said, no, it doesn't sound right. He said, game ready. And I was like, you know, that sounds really cool. So then Game Ready Therapy was born, and now opening this Game Ready Performance.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that came with a really good story, because it seems pretty self-explanatory, but you know, that's usually how things come about. But thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
You'll be seeing a lot more of Daniel in my content from now on, because obviously we're going to be seeing a lot more of each other. But yeah, go check it out, guys. Game Ready Performance on Instagram and everywhere else. By the time this goes to, you know, so yeah, I'll leave it there, and because I usually cap